Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again I will be your host for today's episode. We're celebrating 70 episodes today. Wow, what a journey. And if you're new to this podcast, then welcome. Please feel free to leave a like, some star ratings, and of course a review on what major insights you received from this episode and also previous episodes, which I encourage you to go back and listen to. So let's dive into today's episode, which is really based around a question from one of the members of the Magnetic Mastermind, which is a small group that I run of business owners, entrepreneurs, and secret mystics, you could call them. So the rise of the mystic. So we're going to cover that in another episode shortly. But this question comes from Jason. And the question, if I'm to paraphrase it, is all surrounding one of the modules that I took the members through on feeling is reality. So we're going to use spiritual sensation to move ourselves into a scene that we want to experience the fulfillment of. So it could be, getting a new house, it could be getting a new job, it could be getting new paying clients or higher paying clients, health, whatever it may be, okay? So the question from Jason in paraphrase form is essentially saying that when I focus on what I want, and one of the things on his desire download, as I call it, is a new motorbike. And I can't remember the model and series and all that sort of thing, but it's a powerful motorbike. And he said, so when I think about this motorbike, I feel excited. And when I lean in and feel the sensation of riding the motorbike and being free and open on the open road, I feel excited and I feel in awe of that. However, there are times on each day or maybe times of the week where human nature prevails and we don't really feel that excited. We're feeling tired, maybe we're feeling a bit frustrated by the events and circumstances playing out in the outside world. Maybe we're feeling a little bit of self-doubt or maybe a little bit of fear of change that's occurring in our life. And so in the moment of visualizing what we want, in this case with Jason is a new motorbike, I'm not really feeling that excited. It feels like I really need to work hard at trying to force the emotion that I want to experience. So here's my answer to this, and this applies to absolutely every single person and every single desire that you seek to experience, all right? So understand that we are going to have days, maybe moments, where we aren't feeling that great. Maybe we're feeling a bit low, maybe we're feeling a bit frustrated, like I said. And we feel almost it's foreign to feel excitement or awe or joy or peace or abundance around the idea of what we want. And so we often think, well, maybe if I'm not in a great mood, I'm not going to do the visualization. If I'm not in a great space, I'm not going to do the visualization. So here's what I would say, is that your desire fulfilled, any desire that you have, once it is fulfilled, what does it feel like for it to be your new natural state of being? Let me say that again in another way. So once your desire is fulfilled, it is natural for you to feel a certain way. What is that feeling? Maybe it's not awe and excitement and bliss and, thrill, all that sort of thing. Maybe it's just a deep sense of peace. Maybe it's a smile in your heart and a smile on your face that says, yeah, I did this. This is awesome. I love this. Maybe it's a sense of freedom. Maybe it's a sense of expandedness. So using that as the methodology, let me go into sharing just a little bit of the secret tools that I do share with some of my clients. And that is what has been referred to in the past by mystics and masters before as spiritual sensation. So let me set this up for you really, really simply. Our body is taught to operate through the five senses. So we operate through the five senses in the third dimension. The third dimension, the world of objects and things. Now, we use the five senses to interpret information that we gather, that we come into contact with in the third dimension. So I'll see something, I'll hear something, I'll smell something, I'll taste something, I'll feel something, whatever it may be. And we interpret those signals, we interpret that information that is coming towards us or presented outside of us in a certain way. And we interpret it and we add meaning to it. And that meaning is governed by our beliefs and our previous experiences. So when we are thinking about our desires, it's not enough to think of them. We must think and feel from them. That's the most important key. We must think and feel from our desires being fulfilled. So when we feel from, it is the state of being that has already experienced the result we want, the outcome that we want. So feeling from feels very different to feeling of. So if I'm thinking of the new motorbike, let's use Jason's example. I'm thinking of the motorbike. So I can see a picture of it. I can sense it. I can see the color, the shape, the size. I can maybe perceive what it's going to be like to sit on it. Maybe I'll get the sense of what it will sound like. But at this point, I'm not interacting with it with my larger self, my greater self, the self that exists beyond the five senses. So I'm using the five senses of the body in the third dimension to dictate how I feel about my imagination or about what I'm visualizing, my desire. So this is what keeps people stuck in the third dimension. It keeps people it keeps your desires delayed. So it increases the time in which your desires show up in the world of matter. So let's talk about spiritual sensation. So spiritual sensation, for a moment, if you were to close your eyes and I were to say, think of the number 77. See the number 77. Now, with your eyes closed, you would see that number 77. Now, I'd like you to hear wind chimes. I'd like you to think and hear wind chimes. The wind is blowing and you can hear these chimes. Let's now go to the feeling. What does silk feel like? Imagine that between your fingers, you are feeling silk. Maybe there's a color towards it. Maybe it's red. So whilst your eyes are closed, you are using your spiritual sensation. So you are no longer using the five senses in the third dimension to observe and interact with objects and things in the world of matter. You are sensing and perceiving through your imagination. This is the spiritual sensation. So you could see the number 77 without using your eyes. You could hear the wind chimes without using your ears. And you could feel the silk running through your fingers without using your physical hands. This is the key. So when we feel from our desires being fulfilled, using Jason as an example again, we would feel ourselves on the bike. We would feel our physical self on the bike. We would feel the non-physical self as if our energetic body, our spiritual body, was grasping the handlebars and maybe, twisting the throttle, maybe pressing the brake, whatever it may be. We can feel the engine running. We can hear the roar or the sound of the engine. So now you are using your spiritual sensations, you're using your six senses beyond the body, beyond the physical body, to construct a scene and to feel what it is like to feel your desires fulfilled. So when you are doing your visualization, you must move your physical and non-physical body into the scene and experience it as if you were there in that scene. To think of the bike is to keep yourself distant and separated from the fulfillment of that desire. You must feel from, which means that I am on the bike. I am feeling the bike. I can feel the breeze on my face. I can feel the helmet around my head. I can hear things. I can see things, whatever it may be. But I'm doing that all using the power of my imagination. So when you are in that mode, do you need to feel awe and excitement and joy and bliss and out of this world emotion? No, you do not. You need to be in that scene and feel yourself in that scene, playing that scene out over and over and over again. Getting up on the bike, straddling the bike, putting the key in. You can feel it using your non-physical body as if your real body was there. Okay, you can turn the key, you can twist the throttle, and now you can feel what it's like to be in that scene as if it were true. Because it is to your imagination and now to your body, you are in that scene. So for me to feel that this is a natural state, I might feel just freedom, might feel that this is my time on the open road, that now I get to be, I have self-time. Maybe it's the freedom of thinking for myself and being with my own thoughts, whatever it is to get on the bike. So do we need the excitement and the thrill and the awe and the rush? No. That helps our body move into that state and to realize that there is a new reality that is being created. And so our body must be upgraded through our emotions. Our body must be trained to feel what we desire ahead of time in the physical world. That is why we use spiritual sensation. So spiritual sensation is far more powerful when honed, developed, and strengthened than physical sensation. Because the spiritual sensation is the prime faculty of your larger self, the greater self, the infinite self, the self that is all awareness and is limitless. Does that make sense? So why would we stay confined to the five senses when the five senses have been trained to interface with the world of matter, objects, and things, and to interpret those things in the world of matter through a very small, linear, finite lens? Because when we see things in the world of matter, we unconsciously give meaning to them based on our previous experiences. So for someone, going back to Jason's example, that may look upon or look of the new bike, they may say, well, based on my previous experiences, I can't afford that. Or based on the previous experiences, that's not the one that I like, so I'm going to reject it. Or there's other narratives that people have actually said to you about riding bikes or whatever it may be. Okay? So now we must move beyond the five senses, from the finite self to the infinite self, from the small self that is bound within the five senses, within the world of matter, and we must go beyond it into the larger self, the infinite self, the larger self, the self that is part of the quantum field. And so to engage the spiritual sensation is to engage a new reality. You like what I did with my voice just then? I just noticed it myself. So to engage the spiritual sensation and to feel from your desires fulfilled, that's the new reality. New reality is birthed through feeling. We use imagination to direct our focus. And when we direct our focus enough and we give complete, concise instructions to the subconscious mind, which is, this is what I want to experience, and therein go about experiencing the result of the desire, we then show the subconscious mind, which is feeling-based, how it feels and what it feels like, and its natural impulse is to go in search of that for you. It is your greatest ally, it is your greatest partner in manifesting, and it is the door to the quantum field. Okay? So spiritual sensation is the art of practice. At the beginning, if this is the first time you've heard of such a thing, then I encourage you to go back over this podcast and listen to it again. Go back over this episode. Because imagine you are going through those little exercises I gave you before. You're imagining seeing the number 77. And now you can hear wind chimes. And now you can feel the plush or the softness and the smoothness of silk. And now maybe you can taste something. Maybe it's vanilla or orange or whatever it may be. So now you are bringing what is normally defined as within the five senses, now without even interfacing with those objects in the physical world, you, through the power of your imagination, are engaging the experience through your greater self, through spiritual sensation. So now while I'm feeling the silk, I'm actually feeling the silk. Now, if that forms part of my desire and I can see red silk and I can feel the silk, and whether it's, garments or bed sheets or pillowcases or a dress or whatever it may be, okay, then you can add more layers to that. And the key here, again, to drum that home, is you are feeling your desires fulfilled from that state and from it being natural. So it feels really comfortable, it feels sassy, or it feels luxurious, or it feels whatever. And you are feeling from that. So you are moving your larger self, your spiritual self, into experiencing that result so that it can impress itself upon the world of matter. So your five senses can now pick up and learn what that feels like. Does this make sense? So that's why if you've listened to any of my episodes before, you will have heard me say and reference several times that we need to turn the upside down world right side up. So instead of looking at the world of matter, objects and things as reality, we invert what was previously inverted, and we right side up and give our imagination and our creative potential full right, full license to work for us. And so when someone desires something and they think and feel of it, they go, oh, that might feel pretty good. I actually don't know because I haven't trained my body to feel it yet. I don't know what it feels like because it's new to my senses in the world of matter, in the third dimension. So I must go beyond the five senses. You must train yourself, your body, your physiology, your nervous system, and your neurology, your brain, to recognize what it feels like to live in your preferred reality. So going back to Jason's question there, if there are times where you are feeling down, flat, frustrated, tired, overwhelmed, stressed, whatever it may be, and you go, oh, look, I can't do this excitement thing today. I can't do my guided visualization or my guided meditation because my body is addicted to the past and I recognize what this feeling is. And every time I feel frustrated, I just want to leave everything alone. Or every time that I feel flat and disempowered or tired, I just want to shut down and go into my cave. This is the time that you practice harder. You go deeper into the practice. You find your guided meditation. You find your guided practice. You find your stillness, even in the quietness of your own mind, and you role play. You bring yourself, you put yourself into the scene and experience the scene with your desire fulfilled from. You must feel from. And so that, what is it that is natural? When I'm on the bike, it is natural for me to feel a certain way. Every time I get on the bike, say the bike arrives tomorrow and you get on the bike, are you going to feel excited and jumping around and wahooing and all the rest? Probably not. Probably going to say, okay, I know what this feels like because it's natural for me. I've trained my body to feel its natural state in experiencing this result. Does that make sense? So I'm going to feel, wow, I did this, or this is mine, or I focused really well, and I am not surprised that I am now riding the bike of my dreams. All right? So go back over, listen to this episode again and again, and remember, feeling is reality. Feeling is reality. You must feel from your desire fulfilled, not thinking of it. If you think of it, it will stay outside of you. You'll be bound to the five senses, and you'll be on a revolving door experience trying to look for proof that what you want wants you. Go into the spiritual sensation, go into the world of feeling, and feel your desire fulfilled as natural. Well done. All right, so from me here to you, wherever you are in the world, in the cosmos, remember to dream a better dream. See you in the field.